Why, hello, adventurers. Today, we're going to take a first look at the latest hero that's up for testing on the CBT, Hela, the goddess of death. Hela can be unlocked so long as you have a Begetter Force job already, which confirms she's based off, or at least inspired by, the Begetter. You would use one adventure voucher, so long as it's in your inventory. If you have none available, you may purchase a voucher for 88 BCC, and then unlock her. When unlocked and changing into her for the first time, you will receive her headwear and her initial weapon skin, which is a staff. If you're interested in her growth quest for extra vanity, she has other staff skins in multiple colors, and she also has her companion as a tail option in a multitude of colors as well. The suggested item build seems very HP and tanking focused. Offhand is the Heroic Monument, armor is the Ashen Armor, garment is the Honor Shoulder Badge, footwear is the Refined War Boots, accessories are the Necklace of Oath. For PvP, they suggest the legendary versions of these agents, which will come with the extra PvP line. The suggested weapon is her new unique craftable weapon, which offers extra HP, poison and neutral attack per refine, and even skill damage reduction. So she's definitely meant to stay in the battle as long as possible and cause mischief. Let's take a quick look at the crafting and synth materials needed for this weapon. Feel free to pause or check back on this later if you want to make a shopping list for yourself. Hela's growth pack includes the job potion to max out her job levels, 6 golden badge of the seas, a voucher for a +10 of her new unique weapon, a magic 2 enchantment coupon, and a set of runes to get started. Just like any rune, these will roll randomly. So we can now grab one of these and be able to test out Hela right away. I did shoot for max runes immediately, and it wasn't so bad. But I wanted to check out how she worked, since her core passive seemed really unique. So let's start looking at her skills. Early translation for these skills and runes were kindly provided by TeamLeaks members who helped us out over in the ROM Community Discord. Feel free to come join the discussion with us at the Discord link in the description below. Also remember, this is very early CBT footage and testing. Skill values, animations, or anything may be adjusted prior to hitting the live regions. Hela's core passive, Soul Interference. Every time you deal damage to players, cause the target's highest stat points to reduce by 70 points, last 30 seconds. Every time you deal damage to monsters, increase your own int, dex, or luck by 7, last 30 seconds. The above effect will trigger once every 3 seconds. At level 4, you will now convert 30% of the stat points reduced from other players to yourself. At level 7, Hela can now select which interference stats through an adventure skill, and the duration will be multiplied. This is a very PvP-oriented core passive. Stealing stats and gaining them, choosing what to take first, and sap the strength of your enemies sounds appropriate for a character from the realm of the dead. So it might actually sound confusing, since it's not as obvious as a flashy move or animation we've seen on the field as some other passives we've seen yet. Her passive here shows up under the buff area. And it will also show up on your own stat window when stat points start increasing on your side. Your own attacks, and also the attacks of your Hellhound, can activate this passive. This seems super strong for PvP in my opinion, and I can see this as trying to counter certain setups, or at least trying to weaken the strongest on the enemy team and have a fighting chance. When you reach level 7, you get a set of adventure skills added to your skill book. From my understanding so far, this allows you to choose the priority stat you want to take away from your enemies. This means you can enter a 6's map and swap which one you want to hard target from the enemies as you wait for the match to begin. You can also swap these around anytime. These skills currently can only be activated while inside a GVG or PvP map. Alright, now let's check out the rest of her kit. She actually has a lot of actives compared to the heroes that we've gotten so far, but some, like Hellhound, won't need to be casted very often. Bottle Spirit. Bottle Spirit will be your main spammable attack. It provides a stacking debuff that deals 10% damage based on the original attack. The numbers fluctuate a lot, and the game starts adding them together visually. But this is a really good filler, as even if you have to step away, the ongoing dot damage will still pull in your Hellhound to continue extra damage and also stealing their stats. Fatal Dream. Fatal Dream is an AoE spell, as the spreads of your main target. Also, if your enemy is under 10%, this is an execution skill. This is not effective on monsters or MVPs based on the tooltip. You could easily put Bottle Spirit and Fatal Dream into your auto bar for a basic spell rotation. Forgotten Wine. Forgotten Wine is a disease that is applied, and from my current understanding, the target will or may forget their skills after using them under this disease for a few seconds. I'm unsure how this works on the enemy side, but I'm guessing this might be similar to your skills being locked out like a silence. You can see which target is affected by the goblet-looking icon above their head. Death Medicine. Hela reduces poison element damage taken by 50%, increases poison elemental attack by 20%, and if you have Death Blood Pulse active, you gain a small poison effect. Death Blood Pulse uses HP loss to convert 100% to healing, lasts 18 seconds, and unable to be dispelled. Hellhound. Let's finally check out our companion, Hellhound. This little friend will not die to damage normally, but if Hela takes fatal damage, he will sacrifice himself and help us recover 30% HP. Hellhound will go after any target Hela is currently attacking. Should she stop, he will attack anything that may still have the lingering depressed effect. You may recast a spell to return him to your side, but if you're still close enough to an enemy, he will run off again and bite their ankles. Hellhound does seem to be able to crit while wearing the headwear, like Koi. Hellhound's attacks will continuously also help Hela gain attributes off her enemies. Hela also recovers HP from the passive skill, where 5% of the Hellhound's damage will be converted into healing. Hellhound Roar will reposition your Hellhound and pause its attack during the duration of the spell for 10 seconds. The Roar Zone, where the ground is pulsing, will reduce enemy stats and also prevent revival. I could see this being super key in defending points on 6s and 12s maps, as well as disruption of mass rezzing in GVG maps and bigger scrims. Black Party. Black Party is very unique in that it power boosts all your other skills, either giving them faster stacking on debuffs or better utility, and it lasts for 40 seconds. This is a really good cooldown for important fights. Your spells will have an indicator surrounding all of your boosted spells, so you're aware that the party has now started, along with the icons being updated. I would say the main highlights of this one are the interactions with your Hellhounds. You can now summon a second Hellhound, although it's just a shadow version. But if you think about it this way, this gives you a second Hellhound that will also damage and heal you. And the shadow will follow you around between maps so long as your character does not die. If you swap job classes to something else and back, your Hellhounds will desummon, however. Hellhound Roar also becomes an AoE, as well as its other abilities while party is active. So it will pulse for damage every second for 10 seconds. With these combined, you can have one shadow version attacking the target, while your main Hellhound is doing AoE. And in essence, I believe this also gives you 2 anti-fatal effects, unless the shadow version does work differently. Let's now take a quick look at the runes. Again, these early translations are provided by TeamLeaks members. Her runes bring a lot of utility to her skills. Preventing res, this is a great combo with Fatal Dream spell being the execute. If the wine disease is dispelled, the player forgets everything? I wonder if this might cause spell disruptions mid-cast too. Her S runes have utility in keeping her in the fight with extra HP and recovery. Her entire toolkit is highly designed to stay in the fight and cause as much mayhem as possible, for sure. So, how does she play? I haven't had a real chance to see if there's a PvE potential yet, but I did get a chance to check her out in GVG on the CBT server. I did very well on one-on-one matches where I could shut them down and just keep bombarding them with bottles and doggies. When I was 1v2, I had a much harder time, which is probably partially a player issue. And also a gear issue where I was still wearing some basic magic attack gear at the time and probably missing some cards. Also, if you're curious, her dog is definitely considered a skill and cannot damage the imp. My struggle for breaking an imp can very well attest to that. But overall, she was a lot of fun to utilize in battle and definitely kept them being apprehensive to fight me alone. I find her being based off Begetter a very interesting parallel to what is the life creation job class. While it's obvious this is based off her having companions and bottles, this is a unique take on sapping enemy strength instead. And I could see this being picked up as a part of PvP team comps. How did you like the preview? Do you think you may want to try her out? Myself, I would definitely consider her for support DPS in PvP team play. I normally play full support and already have tanky type gear, so I might be able to bring them over to try her out. Even without proper gear, she was easily hitting about 1 million HP, and with some gear adjustments, is currently sitting around 1.4 million HP in town currently. And it could definitely still use a lot of work. I really hope you enjoyed this sneak peek today at the latest in hero job class design. Thank you so much for watching. Do you have any questions? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, it would be super appreciated if you could like and subscribe. I also have tips and info, ROM news over in the community tab. Be sure to hit the bell and be notified to never miss out. I hope I see you again in the next video. Until next time, adventure, let's guard the eternal love together.